So The Guardian have released a video on white fragility, and as someone who is white, I feel like I'm very qualified to talk about this, so let's play it.
White fragility is the defensiveness, the argumentation, the hurt feelings, the withdrawal that often erupts whenever white people are challenged on their racial worldviews.
Right, let's break this one down then. Alright, so what we're seeing here is typical wordplay. Let's take away anything that's to do with race and see what the statement means then. Right, now this statement is a lot better because number one, doesn't have anything to do with race and it's still kind of believable. I mean, defensiveness and arguments don't really mean that you're fragile, but it's better at least, isn't it?
You know what? This is a color-free zone here. Stanley, I don't look at you as another race.
See, this is what I'm talking about. We don't have to pretend that we're colorblind.
Exactly.
That's fighting ignorance with more ignorance.
Right, speaking from experience, when we say that we're colourblind or that we don't see colour as a white person, it genuinely just means that we don't take your colour into consideration. We care more about your thoughts, your feelings, your mindset. It's not to say we're being ignorant. Like, we still obviously, we can see your culture, but it just means that we don't care about your colour. Just the same as I don't care about mine. Hang on, didn't you already give us the definition?
The fragility part is meant to capture how little it takes to cause white people to erupt in defensiveness.
Racist. That applies to anyone when they're challenged on their views. Try again.
But the impact of that defensiveness, however, is not fragile at all. It functions as a kind of everyday white racial control.
Right, just because someone's been resolute in their argument does not mean they have racial control.
By making it so difficult for people to challenge us on our unaware assumptions and biases.
Right, instead of challenging us, just talk about them, like make us aware of them. Just a thought.
That most of the time they don't. And so it functions to keep everybody in their place and protect the racial hierarchy.
There is no such thing as a racial hierarchy, otherwise Barack Obama would have never been president.
No, I'm not a racist. I am the least racist person you have ever interviewed. That I can tell you.
Trump don't count, he's orange.
Some defensiveness is natural. It's a natural part of the process. The key is that you must move through that defensiveness. It's defensiveness that functions to refuse to engage.
Right, the reason white people get so defensive about this shit is quite simple. You're saying we have unaware biases, but you're just saying that we have biases. You're not telling us what these biases are. If you can explain to us what they are, maybe we could have a good discussion, but no, you're just avoiding it.
To protect a very limited worldview, to let in no information and no challenge.
Defensiveness doesn't imply that white people have a limited worldview. Fucking hell.
Guys, come on, okay? I just want to be able to do and say whatever I want, whenever I want, and I don't want to have to think about the world's problems.
Right, so you're trying to make a concise point. Why the fuck are you showing a college humour parody video? Which is a parody, meaning it's not meant to be taken seriously. A racist generalisation. Sick.
It serves us not to speak about it. Racism is the status quo. It is the status quo of your society, of my society.
Big claim, that. Big claim. To claim that racism has become so normalised that it's the status quo. I mean, you better have some good proof for that.
Of all Western-oriented white settler colonialist cultures.
The actions of my ancestors do not define who I am today. What is the point in that? What is the point in even bringing that up? Like, I'm not responsible for what my great-great-grandparents did. It's retarded. Fuck off.
And that status quo of racism is comfortable for me as a white person virtually 24/7.
Right, I don't know about you, but I'm certainly not fucking comfortable with the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and David McCarthy, just to name a few. Rest in peace.
This country's judicial system has not been great for us.
Never.
And here comes a 2-hour lecture on black stuff. God, I wish my proxy were here. Go ahead.
Good news, America is rebuilding the police. They're giving them a reform, so change is coming.
So I am not going to get to where I need to go from a place of white comfort. I'm going to have to get mighty uncomfortable in order to challenge that.
Right, white comfort doesn't exist at all. That is the most stupid fucking thing I've ever heard. And to challenge racial bias, you just challenge it. There's nothing else to it.
When somebody tells me that they don't see race, I say, I mean, that's fine. You know, you can choose not to see the sky, but it exists.
Right, again, when we say we don't see race, it means we see a fluid state. We see a free-flowing society where these racial barriers don't fucking exist. Why is that so fucking difficult to understand? Of course race exists, but fucking hell. Oh, I can answer this one. Don't be a fucking racist, you twats! Disclaimer, when I say twats, I mean the people that made this video, not the people watching the video that you're currently watching.
The number one question I'm asked is, what do we do?
Guarantee you nobody's asked her that.
And before I answer that, I want to offer a couple of challenges to that question because I find it a very problematic question.
Fuck. When is asking someone what to do problematic? How fucking retarded can you fucking get?
So the first thing is to think long and deep about what it took for you to ask that question.
Well, considering how confusing everything is at the moment, doesn't take much of a fucking thing, does it?
How in 2020 your question could be, what do I do about racism?
Some people want to fucking help, yet this stupid fucking retarded bitch, there's no other way about it, is angry at people for asking how to help. How fucking dumb, how regressive, how shit, how stupid. I don't even need to go on. What the fuck even is she? Fucking hell. Man, I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm pissed. I'm mad at this shit.
How you have managed not to know, and write down how you have managed to be a full functioning adult in 2020 and not know what to do about racism.
Well, it's people like you that make knowing what to do about racism very difficult for a lot of people because you blur the lines. You make everything racist. You make everything a bad place. Like, not seeing colour is now a bad stance to have, which it shouldn't. Also, stop mentioning the current year like it means anything. It's all a load of bollocks at this point, love. Let's be honest.
And everything you write down will be your map. And nothing you write down will be easy to address, but everything on it can be addressed. And then get to work.
No, don't do that. Just don't be a racist and raise awareness where you can.
It's like saying, I want to be in shape tomorrow. You won't be in shape tomorrow. And to get in shape will be a multi-part process.
Right, becoming educated and getting your body in the ideal shape that you want are two very separate things and can both take different lengths of time. So, a stupid comparison, fucking brain dead.
After you've made that list, one of the next things I would ask you to do is to take Dr. Eddie Moore's 21-day challenge and read Layla Said's book, Me and White Supremacy Workbook.
Instead of doing any of that bollocks, I'll show you something more productive. Sit down. And have a fat fucking shit.
Both of those are active processes that will put you on the path.
What you can do is extend that privilege so that you can dismantle it, right? So you can create opportunity for people, you can amplify issues in ways that other people can't, and you can use your resources to create space for people.
Let's switch seats. No, let's switch seats.
Again, if you want to help, don't be racist, just raise awareness where you can. That's all there is to it. There's no multi-part books that you have to go through. There's no fucking enlightenment. It literally is just, don't be a racist, and just sign the odd petition and promote the odd good cause. That's all it is. No, it's important for all of us to step up.
Our voices have been missing from the table for far too long. And by not talking to one another, a couple of things are reinforced. One, we reinforce this idea that we're outside of race.
Okay, we're not outside of race, obviously, but when we are so laser focused on race, we intrinsically promote racism without realising it.
We continually put the burden, the psychic energy of race onto people of color. And
there is no psychic energy burden on anyone from a different race. What you're actually doing with this is inciting division by targeting innocent white people who really haven't done anything wrong, really. You're just trying to make it out like they have without them knowing.
most of the time, we discount what they have to say.
You don't think you will ever change and write books that incorporate white lives into them substantially?
You can't understand how powerfully racist that question is, can you? Because you could never ask a white author, when are you going to write about black people?
Right, so this clip is very, very old, obviously, but it wasn't necessarily a racist question. It was a racially charged question, I'll give you that, but authors should be able to write about whatever they want, and that should never be limited by race. And if anything, nowadays, white authors are getting questioned why they're not including black characters, and that can be in books, films, or anything really, games. Like, diversity, the promotion of diversity is at an all-time high, and if anything, if a game doesn't have any black characters, it gets slandered by the media, let's be honest.
You know, I am not dismissed as being biased or playing the race card or having a chip on my shoulder when I challenge racism.
You can be accused of playing the race card or being biased, regardless of what race you are, so I don't know what you're saying there.
It doesn't mean I don't get dismissed, but the impact of that dismissal doesn't hurt me in the same way that it hurts when we dismiss people of color.
The reaction to dismissal is not determined by our race, but our opinions and our mindsets. Who'd have known?
This is the most complicated social dilemma of the last several hundred years.
So you're saying this is more complicated than World War II, the Holocaust, the Cold War, and even COVID? Fuck off!
We need many angles, many approaches, and many voices.
Well, she's right. We do need many voices, but we certainly don't need hers. She is a divisive bitch. She thinks that all white people are racist, and she thinks that all people of colour think the same, which is disgusting and wrong. We are all individuals, we all think in different ways, and that isn't bound by what colour of skin we have. It's retarded. Hope you enjoyed. I definitely did. I mean, I did get pissed, but it's funny, innit? Cheers.